welcome. I'm Linda Premanandi. I'm a yoga teacher and I'm a trainee yoga therapist, and I've trained in a number of different styles of yoga, but if you like, where I started and where I've returned and where I enjoy the most is with Rishi culture, classical yoga, in the tradition of Gitananda. So the practice I'm sharing with you now is one of the Hathina series, and the Hathina series are unique to the Gitananda tradition. They concentrate on encouraging and directing the breath into various areas of the lungs. So we look at the lower lobes, the mid and upper, and these techniques actually push the breath into these areas because of the shape of the asana, the shape of the posture, the movement of the kriya, which is a directional movement, a considered directional movement with the breath, and also the shape of the body, will encourage the lungs, will encourage the direction of the flow into the different areas of the lungs, and also the mindfulness, the focus of the mind on where the air is entering the body, where the prana, the life force, is entering the body. So they are wonderful techniques for helping with breath practices, with pranayama practices. So let's begin. We are starting in Vajrasana, which is the thunderbolt pose. You're sitting back on your heels. You have a nice erect spine, and let's just get in touch with the breath for a moment. This particular series within the Hathina whole practices is working on Ustrasana, the camel pose, okay, which is going to push the air into the lower lobes. So every series we're doing this evening will push the air into the lower lobes. So sitting nice and erect, let's place the hands in the Spasha Mudra on the lower lobes by getting in touch with the ribs. And we'll just do 3 breaths to remind ourselves of where that is. Or maybe if you haven't practiced with me before, this could be the first time you're getting in touch with your lower lobes. So we're going to breathe in, front, side, back, breathe out, back, side, front. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Good. You can just, if you're not used to sitting in Vajrasana, just give yourself a little bit of time in between every element of the practices we're doing, just to make sure the circulation comes back into the legs, that the flexion of the knees is safe for you, always working within your limitations, considering your own individual needs, because we are all different, and yoga really needs to have a patient approach, and you need to work within your own limitations. So we're just going to breathe in and come up, and breathe out and come down, just practicing that. You can breathe in and out, just sending the pelvis back towards the heels as you sit down, trying to maintain a straight spine. So breathe in and you breathe out, just getting used to that movement. If you wanted to, you could include the arms, breathing in, just lengthening through the back, lengthening through the side body, and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We just do it one more time. Breathing in and breathing out. Just take a moment there. So we want to come into our first posture, and I'm just going to make sure I do it in the right order. So we're going to do Sapurna Ustrasana. Okay, I'm going to start off there. So breathing in, you can come up. I want those with maybe some issues in the lower back to start like this. So we're going to press the fingers into the lower back. Heels might come towards, heel of the hand might come towards the top of the bottom there. Elbows are coming together more or less. Shoulders up and back. You're going to press the feet into the floor. Really press the hips forward. You can extend the chest is going to expand. Yeah. And just see how that feels. Breathe. You can keep the chin in, breathing in here and out. Keep the hips forward and out. Breathing in and out. And release the hands and just slowly come down. So I would suggest, even if depending on what your practice has been prior to this work we're doing now, if you've done your warm-ups, your jatis, whether you've had another half a yoga practice, that we start in these stages to keep our back safe. And this time we're going to come up, and if it's okay, we're going to, for our lower backs, we're going to release the arms. So the shoulders are soft, up and back, hands are just draped down, they're not doing anything particular. Again, we're pushing the hips forward, and that might make the belly rise up, but don't let that bother you. I've got a bit more belly than a lot of people. Okay, opening the chest, really pushing forward. So you're really feeling free with the arms. You're going to breathe in here and out. Keep the chin in. Breathing in and out. Hips have to come forward, keeping this lower back safe. Breathing in and out. This time you're going to breathe in, chin in, and then as you feel safe, you can let the head go back. Breathe in here. Push the hips forward, open the chest, expand. Head back. Open the eyes, don't close them. Breathe in. Open the eyes. And you can breathe in and come back. Now there is a contraindication for throwing the head back. One, you need to keep the eyes open because you may get dizzy, you don't want to fall over. Two, you might have low blood pressure, so that might be affected. So you keep the eyes open, the chin in, if that's the case. And also you may have glaucoma, which is pressure on the eyes, so you wouldn't want to just throw your head back. Plus we have, lots of serious arteries in the neck, serious nerves that do lots of good jobs for us. So I would never advise just throwing my head back. So I bring the chin in first, then I slowly let the throat open a little and bring the head back. So come into, you can have child's pose or you can stretch the legs out depending on how your legs feel. Maybe you just want to bash the feet out. And come back into your Vajrasana. Maybe you want to stretch the back. It's always wise to do a counter stretch. I like to teach from a therapeutic perspective, so I'm never worried about taking time to do a counter pose in between a practice. Even if it's a very specific practice for a specific purpose, it can be wise to have your counter poses in between so everything remains safe. So breathing in and coming up. We're going to come for the Purna Ustrasana, which is the final pose. Done that wrong. Okay, I can edit that. So we're coming for the next variation of Camel. So for this one, you need to bring your hands behind your toes. So, you don't have to have them on the toes, they can just be behind. Shoulders up and back, chest is open. If you have dodgy knees, I've got one dodgy knee, my left knee is quite dodgy, so I don't lift up as high from my knees because of it puts pressure on my knee. But you do whatever's your limitation, okay? Because we're pressing the hands towards the floor, we're breathing in, and we're lifting the butt. You can keep the chin in, and then send the head back, pressing the hands into the floor, breathing out, and the butt comes back down. And this may be brilliant, and you might be able to really come up into a wonderful back bend, or you may be like me and be quite low with it, okay? But the benefits will still be there for you. Breathing in, lift up, press through the floor with the hands. It's really strengthening for the arms as well. And breathe out and come back. And we're just going to try one more, okay? So bring the hands close to the toes, but they don't need to be on top of the toes. Breathing in here, lift it up, press into the floor, see if you can arch the back. Breathing out, it comes down. And that's how camels get up. They look wonderful. Maybe you can just stretch out, head to the floor. Maybe the hands come to the heels so that you wrap the shoulders around the knees. Just take a few breaths here, easing into everything. No rush, slow and mindful. Letting the body really get the message, understand, open up, breathe in, chin lifts up, and you come to your kneeling position. So we're going to go a stage further. Breathe in, come up onto your knees, and you can tuck the toes. Tucking the toes brings the floor a little closer to you for this posture. I'm bringing some people do it with their feet closed. I'm going to have my feet directly in front of my knees, okay, so it's about hip distance. My toes are tucked. I'm really pushing my back, my hips forward. I'm squeezing my thighs as well, okay? So I'm coming back one arm at a time. I think that's a really nice way to work up to it. Not everybody can come back, and it can be frightening going backwards. It takes confidence, and it took me a long time to come into camel pose. It was one of the things that I didn't enjoy doing, and mainly it was to do with the fear of going back, because we're not used to doing it. But the world did not fall off its axis when I did camel posture. Okay, so I'm going to raise up my right arm, and I'm going to bring my left hand to my left heel. I'm pushing my hips forward. I'm breathing in to come up. Everything is slow and controlled. I breathe in first. I don't just throw myself back. I push my hips forward. Then I reach back for my heel. Maybe I look behind, maybe I don't. Keep the hips forward. Breathing in, you come up. And do it a few times. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, hips forward, nice strong thighs. Breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Last time this side. Breathing in, hips forward, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. And drop your feet and take a break. Take a break. Stretch out in front. Maybe you need to lift up. Maybe you need to just bounce out your legs or wiggle your hips. whatever feels good for you. We're going to come back into Vajrasana. Heels together, knees together. We're breathing in, we're coming up. We can tuck the toes if that's what we need to do first before we come all the way down with flat feet. I'm stretching because I like the length before I come back. I don't like to just crunch into my back. So I'm pushing my hips forward. I'm lengthening the side body. I'm lengthening my arms. When I breathe in, I drop the right arm to come back and I drop the left. I breathe in here. I'm going to keep my chin in. My chin is in for a moment. Breathing in and out. Now when I drop it, I'm going to breathe in through the nose and blow through the mouth. So I'm going to drop my head back now, pushing my hips forward. I breathe in, out through the mouth. Breathe in, kaki. Posture with the mouth, nice shape. Breathe in through the nose. Take a breath, don't rush, don't panic. Calm mind, calm body. Lift up one arm, breathe in and come up. Keep your eyes open. Come back to sit on your heels. Take a moment. Now the way I was breathing, I didn't explain prior, which I should have done. Apologies. I'm breathing in through my nose and then I'm making like a crow's beak. Really pushing a Bhastrika breath, a forcing breath. So I'm breathing in through my nose. And we're going to do it 3 times and we'll do it with the full Purna Ustrasana. Now you might be up on your toes again to make the heels easier to catch. Okay, but if you're not, you want to do it this way, that's fine. Some people, they have a fantastic arch in the back. Mine not so much. Okay, I did start practicing late in life. So I work with what I have in the age that my body is, which is now 61. So I work within the body I've got. I don't try and work with the body that I wish was 25. I actually don't wish that, but you get the meaning of what I'm saying. So come on up. I'm going to keep my feet. Actually, what I can do is start with them tucked, and this might be a nice little trick for you as well. Or a little tip, not a trick, you still have to do it, so it's not a trick. Pushing the hips forward, really nice and strong in between the thighs. So really grip the thighs, give yourself some real strength here. I'm going to breathe in and come back as I just did. Yeah? And then I might sort of bring the fingers up a little bit to the calves and then go back down and see if I can really bring the chin into the chest first. Maybe I can turn my arms around. Breathe in here, then send the head back, then send the hips further forward. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe in, breathe in, hips forward. Now arm up and come all the way up. And as I say, the world didn't end. I think my knees were a bit too wide then. I think I probably opened them a little bit too wide. And come into a nice child's pose. Stretching out your spine. Relax. Please take a few moments Shavasana. So I'm tucking my ankles, I'm crossing my ankles and I'm bringing myself to sit. I'm stretching my legs and I'm coming into a Shavasana position and just let the body relax, quieten down, calm down. And take at least 7 minutes in your Shavasana, letting the practice sink into your system allowing your interoception to work in the body, allowing the breath to calm down, the mind to calm down. You might just focus on the sensations in your body following your Ustrasana practice. You might focus on the breath, or you might just observe and let go of the thoughts in your mind. Please feel free to stay in your Shavasana as long as you need. When you're ready, you can come up into seated position to finish the practice. Join your hands together in Namaskar Mudra. Bow your head to your hands. Be grateful for where you are in your practice. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. If you like the content of my videos and you want to practice more, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I upload lots of practices weekly. There's bound to be something to suit you. Just a word of advice: when you start practicing yoga, it can be an idea to check things out with your GP first, but also make sure you are warming up, not to just jump into practices, that you do the warm-up practices first, and you also step into a kind of mindset that is ready for yoga. So no distractions, no loud music, a nice clean space that you put aside in your room, and that will give you the best start possible to a transformational practice of yoga. Thank you. Namaste.